David seemed to struggle most of his life. He was either being chased or hiding, or he had made big mistakes, and he needed God. Listen to these words. To thee, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in thee I must trust. Do not let me be ashamed. Do not let my enemies exult over me. And make me know thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. For thee I wait all the day, but remember, O Lord, thy compassion and thy loving kindness, and in this remember me, for thy goodness' sake, O Lord of us, O Lord. I've come to the conclusion that many of us, perhaps all of us, sometime in life, if not over and over in life, are locked into a constant spiritual battle. When I was younger, I thought there would come in my life sometime where I'd reach the experience of sanctification. I wouldn't have these problems anymore. When I reached middle life, I thought perhaps that time would be later in life and I would finally achieve sanctification through senility. But you know what? I'm beginning to feel like it's just not going to happen. One of the greatest of heavenly wonders will be to never again be bombarded by temptation and sin. I'm anxious to sit at the welcome table, and I'm looking forward to the hug and embrace of God Himself and Jesus Christ. But I'm telling you, I'm really looking forward to waking up or experiencing a time in heaven right at the very beginning when I never have the monkey of temptation on my back again. And every day could be a due day of wonders and never a down day or a temptation or feeling inadequate or disappointing God. I don't want to choose anymore between the lesser of two evils. Because I believe God loves us so much, and yet Satan has a plan to destroy us. And his cunningness in doing that is to create one of the oldest games that exists here on this earth. First, he comes along and he offers to us something that seems like we just cannot resist. And then when we take hold of it, he says, now I'm going to expose you as the sinner that you are before God and the whole world, hopeless and doomed, without any hope at all. It's an old trick, and many of us have fallen for it sometime along the way. The sermon today is for those of us who at some point in our life have felt that they just aren't good enough for God. Their sins, their life is beyond the reach of redemption that God offers and Jesus gave His life for. It's for those of us who feel that buried down deep inside, there's something that holds us aloof from the promised forgiveness that He has forgiven. If this is your feeling and in your heart, you may want to quietly tap the person beside you and say, the pastor may be talking about me. I know that many times as I've talked to car guys and the conversation's gone a certain direction, I've had some say to me, you know, preacher, or rev, some other term, I'd like to be right with God. I just have to get busy and get my life together first. Someday I might be good enough to approach Him. It's the devil's scheme. I've got some really good news for you today. God is really involved in restoration. Psalms 23, verse 3, he says, He restoreth my soul. Is there anything more germane to who we are and what we experience than our soul itself? And God says, I'm the restorer. I will restore your soul. One of God's greatest restoration stories is what he has been able to do with David. He took him from a murderer, a plotter, a liar, an individual that committed about the worst sin anyone else could think when he took somebody else's wife and then had that person destroyed just to make it look legitimate and good. A schemer, too. He took him from that unto a place where he was able to call him a man of my own heart. A man of my own heart. God is really into restoration.